I know, looks like you're able to make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, I still don't have power. I'm hoping that sometime today.
Oh, I know. I'm glad at least that hopefully you're like far away from the fires.
Yeah, yeah. They just, the problem has been with the winds like that, new ones pop up every now and then.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what does close mean. And as the crow flies, nothing is very far. And the winds are winds make it very difficult to fight. So
Okay.
I am grateful for the situation I'm in compared to a lot of other people. So
Oh yeah, I know. It's like so sad. I mean, it's like almost like 9,000 or 10,000 homes that I think was the number, and
yeah,
almost like 200,000 people have been told to evacuate. It's like, I don't know,
yeah.
that's the numbers I'm seeing, but maybe there's something different you're hearing out
No,
there.
no, it's been really very crazy, and that area hasn't seen a fire like this in a long time.
Okay.
And it's right next to the ocean, and you'd think
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. A fire burnt all the way to the ocean.
Well, I mean, looks like it's all like there's three factors. That's what they said. There's very dense housing, dense and dry vegetation, and that caused the flare and
Yeah,
spread.
yeah, yeah. And if we get rain, they say that's that's good for that year, but the next year you don't get the rain, and the same stuff that grew because of the rain now gets dry, and it's fuel for
Yes,
the. It's
yes,
like I don't know how to keep up with this weather, with the patterns that we.
yeah, challenging. Sorry, curiosity, are you quite far away from the fires? Like tens of miles, hundreds of miles?
Not hundreds.
Okay,
I'd say as the crow flies, we're about 20 something miles from Malibu.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and which is why with strong winds, that distance is not much for
Oh,
winds.
yeah.
Um,
It can get, yeah, it can, these things are like the way they are kind of, hopefully I'm just saying, I don't want to say anything, but hopefully you'll be safe forever, for a long time.
yeah, I hope so. It's
Yeah,
it's getting to me now. This is happening a little too often.
yeah. So I'm assuming you'll be running the meeting, right, Anu? You okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now that
All right.
I'm here, except it doesn't say I'm the host, so I've never figured out how to be the host. Usually Javad assigns me the host, but anyway.
Okay.
So Raghu, I might need your help next week because next week I have a doctor's appointment. I have to leave at 8:20.
Okay.
So I'll be there for the first 20 minutes, and I don't know Javad's situation next Friday.
Okay.
But I'll let you know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, yeah. What we can do as we finish off today, we'll just kind of compare notes and tell us what we need to review for or what we need to complete for next Friday. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I can be there next week.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Okay, it's 8:03, probably time to get started. So today was just going to be dry runs um, for Chiplet Summit. I think all of you know the schedule for the Chiplet Summit, which is in a in 2 weeks' time. Um, I shared it last week. Does anybody not know?
Hey, I know if you are okay, I can share it because I was just keeping it ready for the
Oh,
presentation today.
please do, please do.
Okay. Okay, let me just share my screen. I think Cliff is not here, right? Okay, because yeah, I mean, I'm using I'm using the one that Cliff has posted. So
Yeah.
let me just pull it up. Let me just share it. Uh, should be this one. Okay. Okay. Is it good enough resolution?
Yeah, yes. And yeah, I
I
think
mean,
I can see it. Can everybody else read this?
yes.
Um, Great, thank you. So I'll just run through this real quick. So we're in the afternoon. We're tutorial H of the pre-conference day. So it's 1 through 5 o'clock. I'm going to start with a little preamble about the team and all the work streams and just in general introduce the work that's being done. The the second portion of it's going to be Shahab talking about the die-to-die metrics, Raghu and Steve talking about the market place and the business work stream, and then the CDX work with Javad and David and James. The second half of it is We have D-Matrix. In the Global Summit, if you remember, we had Sri from D-Matrix presenting. Now we've got Keith. I think he used to be a participant at our meetings earlier. So he's going to be there in the afternoon. We're going to have the test talk with Rajesh, and right now we have Madhumita on it. I don't know if that has changed to somebody else, but that's currently the status. And then Arbo 2.1 talk with Cash, Kevin, Shahab, and Ilad. And then the afternoon will continue, well, late afternoon, I guess. We talk about the HPC modularity workstream that Patricia and George run. And then we've got Simon, who actually I've never talked to, who's from Perforce, and he's gonna talk about, I'm actually not completely sure what, but I guess how to make IP useful. And then the new topic that we introduced last time was Javad and Arvind just talking about what abundance of wires means, and how given what we have today, how we can fit into it or expand into it, as the case may be, for specifically, I think, targeting HPC systems, but the way the NOFO is written, it targets everything in the world. And then the afternoon is a panel, and I'm pretty sure DJ is going to be the moderator, and we've got really good panelists here. And the nice part is Bilchen has agreed to participate. So it's a pretty full day. As Kevin pointed out, so Kevin, two things. One is Cliff is going to try to improve the agenda for the Tutorial H online, which currently has nothing. So he's he's going to try to get Cliff to Lance to do that. So that's one. Number two, we did talk about how this one is in parallel with the UCIe session, which is unfortunate because it's a similar audience who'd go to both. And Cliff was asking me, and I don't recall, was it the same last year? Kevin, do you remember?
Don't recall.
Yeah. Does anyone here remember if these were overlapping sessions? Yeah, anyway, he said he'll ask Lance about it, but I don't know how many of you know Lance. It's a little hard to get. I don't know. Anyway, I won't go there.
Oh, you should. You should.
This is a recorded call too, Cash. I think I'll
sorry.
just yeah. So he's going to mention it. It would have been nice to, I think, have it like one of them in the morning and the afternoon so that the audience doesn't get divided. Given the UCIe is, it's got a name brand, definitely. But we'll see. This is how things are, and we'll roll forward and see what happens. The other piece of information for Kevin and Cash is Letitia's response. I tried to say, hey, we've got use cases, for example, D-Matrix, can we fit in? And I haven't heard back. I think I am ready to not do anything about it at this point, unless she gets back to me. But that's where it stands. So the morning is free for, I haven't volunteered you guys for anything in the morning. Does anyone have a comment?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
And there wasn't a UCI tutorial last year. There was not one. So
Oh, I see.
there was an interfaces tutorial in the morning where UCI was one of the panelists. I was at that session. I don't see anything in the afternoon that was at the same time as ours.
I wonder why they did that. I don't know. I think that right now would be really impossible to move things around.
It's too late to change it. Wasn't suggesting that.
No, but it was a good point, Kevin. It was a good point. It divides an audience, and it makes no sense for the conference itself. it makes no sense. But anyway, there's Cliff. Cliff, I was talking about the overlap of us, I think tutorial E and H, which are OCP and UCIE. And Kevin just quickly found out that last year there was no UCIE tutorial, so it didn't exist last year.
Doesn't look like it now.
So
Yeah, the one this year is just on, it's some of their standard talks on UCIe 2.0, so it's very UCIe focused. Ours is, of course, more on the open chiplet economy, which is a lot broader, but
yeah, we're a lot broader. I mean, the only place
that's
we
sort of,
overlap is
yeah.
the BO-FI piece.
right.
Yeah, anyway, so Cliff, if you feel up to poking the bear, you can ask Lance about it, but I will leave that up to you. Okay, and then today and next Friday we're going to be used just for practice. If anyone wanted to go through their material, most of you have done a terrific job at the Global Summit, the OCP Global Summit. But if there's any additional material, and some of you I know have, and if you only want to share that, that's totally good. I understand we've all got a million other things to do, so feel free to tell me you can only share a few pieces. So as far as I know today, we only have Kevin and Raghu signed up to share. I think everybody else was going to wait till next Friday. Fully understand. We've all got a million things to do. So without much ado, oh, Cliff is here. Cliff wants to say something. Hey, Cliff.
I did, yes. Thanks, Shalyanu. I had to step aside for a moment. Just a couple things. One is I can mention it to Lance, but I wouldn't expect they could do anything for this time around. But still, we should register our suggestion that it's not good to have them side by side so we don't split the audience. The other thing is just to remind everyone that if they register using the OCP provided link, it's complimentary. So no need to pay for the attendance if you're coming from our community. The other thing is, please remember all the presenters to share your presentations with us so that we can make them available afterwards from the OCP website as part of the wealth of information that we like to provide to the community. Let me see, I think that was mostly it, other than we will have a booth at the summit, and myself, Steve Helvey, Michael Schill, and Michael Schill will be there on site. So please come by and see us in the booth and catch up if you have a moment. We'd appreciate that.
Thanks, Cliff. The one question I got from one or two people was registering through the OCP, that does include all 3 days, not just the pre-conference day, right?
Correct. It's a complimentary pass for all 3 days.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So with that being said, are there any questions about logistics or when you need to show up or anything? I would suggest all of you quickly take a screenshot of this. We'll share the agenda too, but please make sure you show up when you're supposed to show up at the room, which the room should be on the website, I'm guessing. I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen rooms assigned to the tutorials yet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not sure, but I don't remember seeing that. There are for all the talks, so it's a little odd.
Yes, and I will not say anything about that anymore. So, okay, Kevin, if you want to go first, it's all yours.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Hey,
just
Raghu.
wanted. This is Rajesh.
Oh, hey, Rajesh. Sorry.
Hey, just wanted to make a one correction there. Madhumita is has delegated that to Aparna, so I think we need to change the name from Madhumita to Aparna. I will send you the name later.
Yeah, you should actually send it to Cliff. If you have Cliff's email.
Oh, okay, okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
so because Cliff is going to also publish their program through Lance on the website, so we want to
Yeah.
make sure we've got the right name. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Kevin.
Sure. The Sorry, but I was just looking at this is the Chiplet Summit program. I think I just emailed you last year's, but I don't see any rooms anywhere right now. And this is what I was talking about, like,
Yeah.
most of them have some information and
Yeah.
ours does not, so
Right.
hopefully. we
Yeah.
get that
No,
clarified.
no, Cliff is on
Mostly
it. He's
Just to advertise it, in advance. Ours has a lot of talk, so I don't know, maybe there's some way to condense it down, but yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, ours is kind of slightly different from what everybody else is, right? Because we're showing a lot of work that's being done by the
Yeah.
teams.
Sure, so I heard Kosh talking earlier, so I know he's here. I sent you, I didn't send this to Cliff, but I sent to Elad and Shahab and Kosh, who I see only Kosh is here. So this was the bow. This is sort of a draft of the bow slides. Can you see my slides okay?
Yes.
I wasn't intending to do an entire dry run of this 30-minute talk, but what I'll do is go through at high level, and I say draft because Elad has not, and Shahab and Kosh have not had a chance to change it, so I'm expecting changes. In fact, Kosh, I think you said you're going to talk about this next week in this meeting, potentially.
Yeah,
Right.
I've had no time to work on it. So
Yeah, no, I
hopefully.
understand, but you're going to do something next week, so I won't focus on that. But the idea is there's an introduction to Bow that Elad would present and talk about some of the work we're doing in Bow 2.1. I don't know if he's going to bring into it any of the things that we talked about day before yesterday about other future possible stuff, but these three areas are what I know will be in the talk. The first is optical. These are just Shahab's slides from Chiplet Summit. Oh. Thank you. And asking for participation. So far, at least, I'm not aware of anything actually related that changes the spec in the optical arena. And I haven't had time to talk to Shahab about whether he really wants to do this again.
When you say really wants to do this again, do you mean he?
Well, if there's no changes to the spec, we could in theory devote time to some other topic related to Bo. It's Elad's and Shahab's call.
Okay.
I just haven't been able to reach him.
Yeah.
Initially, this started with optical is important, and we need to make some changes to the PHY in order to support optical. And I believe he's concluded that's actually not the case. This more just like an application, which is interesting to people. It's interesting to me, but I don't know if it's really if there's any 2.1 spec work that's going to happen related to this. That's the part I'm unclear about.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I almost feel like, Kevin, it would be useful for all of us to get together for maybe 10 or 15 minutes next week.
My only comment
including
there would be that the use case of supporting optical is so important for AI, and there's such a high interest in it.
Yeah.
That even if we don't have to make a change to the spec and we can support it natively, it'd be great to demonstrate that use case.
Yeah, I agree, Cliff. I think that's a really good point. And to your point, Anu, I think we have the Bow meeting on 9 o'clock on Wednesday, so I assume we'll do final logistics talk then.
Yeah, I just never have seen Shahab at that meeting.
I know.
Okay, just saying.
Let me
Sorry.
talk to him. I'll trade texts with him and see if I can get him to attend that meeting. Because
Yeah, just 10 minutes. I understand, like
10 minutes or something.
people are crazy busy, so thank.
Okay, I will go through mine in a minute. I'm going to skip over it. On Kosh's, what I did was I just copied your slides from Chiplet Summit. Copy is I use the word loosely as the template fought me mightily on this copying, but anyways, I managed to get your content in, Kosh, and you can change it to anything you want. So this is what you showed before, more or less. Looks like there's a blank slide in here. And then this was Elod's closing slide. That was it. What I wanted to talk today about is memory. So what setting the table, this is the same slide I used before. Memory wall is a problem, and it's one of the top factors that are driving overall system level performance in the HPC AI world is actually DRAM bandwidth. So we've been looking at ways we can apply Bo to memory applications. It's also a big area that has a lot of interest, as Cliff pointed out, for optical. It's also true in memory. And there's been a broad discussion on die-to-die interfaces. So within the group, we identified three sort of use cases. The first is an ASIC driving an external memory chiplet that then drives some kind of memory. Call it, for this example is DDR DIMMs. Because the ASIC to the memory chiplet is really still a logic-to-logic device. And the conclusion, Elod really is sort of the champion of this case, but the conclusion is it doesn't drive any spec changes, so I'm not going to focus on it here today, but it will be like Cliff said, maybe an application note or something we can publish. The other two use cases are kind of extreme opposites. One is using this sort of Bo-like logic interface to talk to an HBM device, and the use case for that requires extremely high bandwidth, which Bo is very good at, in a small beachfront, because that's fixed by the size of the HBM device. It being, let's say, 10 millimeters here, it's really more like 8 that it has to fit in. A third application that has been championed by Infineon and others is more similar to the first as far as bandwidth requirements, but direct attached memory chiplets. So it is again Bo repurposed as a memory interface, but talking directly to a memory device like HBM, but bandwidths that are more like LPDDR class or DDR class in as small a beachfront as possible. So these are different applications that drive different requirements. So let's talk about Bo today. Can we use it to support something like an HBM4 class memory? So a bunch of wires, as you know, can be configured as slices that can be stacked up to 4 or 5 deep. In this configuration, you get about a terabit per second per millimeter of bandwidth, which is a lot. But they're fixed unidirectional links in operation, either transmitting or receiving. And thus, the terabit per second per millimeter gives you around a terabyte per second in the 8 millimeters of read or write bandwidth, but not both. And that isn't enough. That's about half the bandwidth you need to support an HBM4. So the thing that we identified in the discussions is that we already have bidirectional IOs. Can we use those bidirectional IOs in a way that actually provides read or write bandwidth in the kind of space that we need? And what we're doing is proposing to build upon the existing bunch of wire specs, same physical layers, but allow them to be dynamically switched instead of statically configured. We get half duplex IOs, which is the same as every memory interface that you're familiar with, DDR, HBM, etc., where they can switch between either reading or writing bandwidth. And in that case, we can fit in that roughly 8 millimeters, we get 2 terabytes per second of DQ bandwidth that it supports the read and write traffic. We do this in a way that utilizes existing Bo interface, so the clocking is the same. There's no changing to timing specs, and we have the extra bits of aux effect that we can use because memory is inherently not a binary interface. It usually is in 18-bit slices that have ECC overhead, which Bo supports well. And then there's also unidirectional command and address. So this is a proposal, and we're working on spec changes now for 2.1 to support this use case 2. We take the existing support for bidirectional IOs and asymmetric and are proposing a half duplex extension of the Bo spec. As I said, using the existing timing references and specs and repurposing the FEX and OCC pins. So this work is ongoing in the Wednesday Bo meetings.
So Kevin, one quick question. This is not tied down to using silicon interposer. Is that fair, or the HBM memory only supports interposers?
Yeah, good point. Thanks for the feedback. I'll make sure to emphasize that.
Okay.
Yeah, HBM is a chiplet that exists today. It's very successful and popular. It requires advanced packaging and interposers to use it. And a lot of people are interested in a standard package version of HBM. This repurposing of Bo, it would be specifically to build a standard package HBM. None of these are about advanced packaging. All of them were looking at standard package applications of the bunch of wire interface in memory. So I failed to mention that. I definitely will do that. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was use case 2. Use case 3 similarly is in standard advanced packaging, standard laminate organic packaging. One of the things to build a direct attached memory chiplet that was identified is that the traditional world of ASICs and memory is that the ASIC side provides all the clocking and control, and the memory chiplet doesn't require a PLL or any kind of clocking. The way Bode is defined today, everything's symmetric. You've got in the interface, you'd have 2 PLLs, and you'd have interfaces going one way, interfaces going the other. They're completely independent. Memory chiplets like to loop back the clock and have all the timing control and adjustment done on one side. And maybe I'll make this figure a little more clear, but that is the idea of use case number 2. And for use case number 3, and for that, in order to support that, again, we need a couple of changes from the Bo spec, because today everything is fully symmetric in both directions, as most die-to-die interfaces are. So to allow this sort of asymmetric clocking, we just need some spec changes such that the PLL and clock generation can be all on one side, and forward it from the source to a DRAM side or follower side that loops back the clock, and the ASIC side does all the hard work of phase adjusting to receive that data. And then again, repurposing FEX and aux pins so we can have a non-binary interface. So the one thing that I specifically want to call Cliff's attention to that you and I talked about, I added a new direction I want to promote as part of the call to action. So there's 2 industry initiatives that could drive further Bo memory related development outside the 2 things I just outlined. One is a strategic initiative within OCP, which is called Open Systems for AI. And as part of that, they've identified a number of areas. Optical's one that Cliff just mentioned, but general purpose, there's an increased need for memory for interconnect bandwidth. And as part of that, I can foresee a need to look at extending the Bo spec to something like 64 gig. I know, talking to Elad in the past, that should be doable within the context of the kind of interface that we're doing. And so that is one area that there's potential work for Bo that could fall under the open systems umbrella. And the other is there was a call for increased memory bandwidth, which we're already looking at supporting HBM4. In the future, there might be something like an HBM5 out of JEDEC, and as such, could Bo be extended to support that? The current interface would not, but if we can extend increased frequencies, we could. So these are two ideas. There may be others that fit under this, the Open System for AI bucket, which is about increasing interconnect bandwidth. There's another initiative, which is, you mentioned the NOFO 2, the abundance of wires area, which is, I view it as kind of an orthogonal industry initiative at rather than increasing bandwidth per wire, increasing the number of wires. What if there were technologies that, like hybrid bonding and others, that enabled really low cost, super fine pitch interconnect? In that case, if wires are not free, but there's 10x the number of wires you have today, you could run them lower and potentially either a broader, wider memory interface, like a wide IO, or a 3D memory interface, which I know is near and dear to Kasha's heart. And that could also be purposed in, if we develop something like that, it could be repurposed into the memory space. So these are two things I want to introduce, topics I want to introduce that are not part of what we're already doing, but what we might be doing. And if you're interested in any of them, please come join us in the Bo Workstream, Wednesdays at 9. That's it.
Yeah, my thought here just is it might make sense to prepare a few charts talking about the AI strategic initiative, talking about the optical interface as a use case, and these extensions that are being considered, and we could have you present it on the monthly call for the AISI so that others can know about what you're thinking.
Right. Yeah, I think that is certainly could be an interesting, that's the right forum for it. So yeah.
Okay, well, let us know. Happy to get you a time slot.
Right. One of the things that I asked in the Wednesday call, you weren't there, is I know abundance of wires is public in the sense that the government has published an OFO 2. I wasn't sure that the open systems for AI was public. We had a discussion about that last week and decided it was, that that OCP has published at least some information about this new strategic initiative, right?
Correct. It is open, just like anything else at the Open Compute Project. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. And it occurs to me that it's possible, these are memory-centric ideas, but I know Elad's not here. It's possible that the overall, this could belong more in Elad's introduction in order to encompass both the optical and what Kasha's doing, and not just memory. But I wanted to put it somewhere, so I put it here.
No, this is fantastic. So Kevin, I was just thinking that when Elad does the introduction, we kind of say where the Bo is today and how we're going to go down to the 1 gig that Cache is doing, and we're trying to move up to the 64 that the AI system. So we're taking what already exists today in a very stable form and using the same, mostly the same physical format to extend on both sides. And I think that's a good start to introduce what Cache is doing and then how you're looking at it further on.
Okay. Kash, what do you think?
Yeah, no, this is great. As you said, that I know you just put the slide in there. It probably needs to be expanded, as Cliff mentioned, and put in different areas, right? It should be in the start of this, is kind of as Anu put it, right? This is now the next step for Bo, right? It's going to need to move in two directions. One is, higher speeds, as you mentioned, right? And the second is now with the abundance of wires, which is, it's really not NOFO. I mean, the industry is already moving into that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the big guys are already, going to 10 micron pitch and below. And therefore you have, thousands of wires, compared to a 100 micron pad, you have 10,000 more wires or whatever, right? at 1 micron pitch. I mean, the numbers are staggering, right? So and it's definitely happening in the next 5-6 years. People are going to be going to 1-2 micron pitch on their PHYs. So yeah, so I think that it's great to have a future session here, or section, right? So which blends. So I think Wednesday would be a good time for all of us to just sort of try to work on this. So I think that would be good.
Okay, but I hear you say either upfront.
I think it has to be some upfront from Ilad's intro, and then in each section, right? Like you're
echo it. Okay,
you,
I can do the
you
memory
echo
part.
it with the memory focus, and I'll echo it with the more flexible solution, right? So I think that will get the message across a little easier.
Okay.
Yeah, and guys, do you think that my keynote basically is going to go through the work streams and sort of a little hint as to what they're working on and what the future has. Do you think I should sort of use what Ilad's little intro slide there too to give to provide insight into, hey, this other cool stuff that we're going to do? Maybe that's a good place too, or is it too early to do that there? If we're talking
I
about
think you
it,
should.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think you should use his whatever we end up coming as the intro, the broad slide as something that's part of that. I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's
Just a quick
really exciting.
question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, just a quick question. You mentioned you wanted to integrate the optical piece of it as well. So, I mean, this is coming on pretty strong. I don't know if this is a good time to add this or not, but with a bunch of wires, we're all seeing, I don't know, I guess you want to call it a bunch of waveguides or a bunch of optical interconnects as well. And already we're seeing, a number of waveguides coupled in with the bunch of wire speed. Did you say you wanted to add the optical portion of it as well in that last slide?
Sorry, I'm on mute. I think so. The way it's structured is there's optical, memory, and then the flexi wider I/O section. And I think we want to add something about the future in all three of them. And in the optical section, we want to add something that says, well, more about using bow coupled with optics, as you said. So that is Shahab's domain, and he's not here. So we're volunteering him to talk about.
No, I was gonna, Vijay, if you would be interested. So Shahab is the only guy really who's pushing this within our team, right? So we actually need more participation from the optical folks. Okay, so if you're available and to contribute, that would be fantastic. And this waveguide and I mean, we're all aware that IMEC has announced a bunch of stuff. I mean, everybody's looking at putting a lot of data through optical, right? And so you need a lot of links, and that's a perfect fit for Bo. But we would appreciate, or I certainly would appreciate, if I don't have your email, but I know if you can get it, and then you can if you can join us on the Wednesday call and help with that section and add to it of what should we be doing, as well as contributing, or anybody else, right, that you can recommend as well. That would be really, really helpful to us.
Yeah, so we've got, I mean, just right now we're doing an application which is a kind of a hybrid interconnect, if you will. It's just a combination of a bunch of wires and also a bunch of waveguides, let's call it, for inter-chip, inter-tile communication. The only problem is I'm going to be gone that entire time. I'm more than happy to work with the team here to contribute whatever so they can present what we have.
No, that's fine. So Vijay, what we'll do is right after this meeting, I'll send out an email connecting, making sure Kevin, Kash, you, Shahab, Ilad, we have everybody's email addresses. I'll send you the link to the 9 a.m. call on Wednesday. But I think it's really important that you and Shahab get together and see if we can add a slide or two to his section to show how this real use case, like, the bunch of waveguides and the bunch of wires, and what you're doing. And I understand you're not going to be available at the summit, but if we can have a quick conversation before that and put in some future potential ideas there, then we can hash it out at later.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think you guys already have a good. So whatever I can contribute or whatever I can help, sure. I will be sending a proxy to the conference. I won't be there, but
Yeah,
so I will have some representation.
excellent.
And then Bill, of course, will be there from our team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That sounds good. Sounds like we'll have a pretty good session with,
I was just going to say there's a gentleman from Light Intelligence, hey,
yeah,
Bobby.
Yes.
Is there any contribution you could make on this as well? Or
I don't know yet. We're certainly, because we have the other work group, which is short reach optics. We're also discuss this kind of things, but I think we can work together. I guess to thinking about how we can improve in the future.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think
Actually,
that's a good point.
Bobby, now that you've that the short reach optical interconnect FTI workstream has solidified a bit on a direction around the UA link use case, it might make a lot of sense for you to do a little presentation for this group on the work that's going there. I don't see it as competitive because I don't understand that short reach optical interconnect is doing a chiplet PHY or anything like that. But I think it might be good to understand how there's a potential collaboration between the work streams.
Yeah, I don't think there's any competitive. It's more like as a short reach optics, we're actually looking for from a system point of view, what would be the system people like the optics would be. So because the short reach optics is mostly people from the optical solution provider, and traditionally they are more into the pluggable area. And of course, people are talking about the CPO, the co-packaging optics, or the near packaging optics. But the challenging is we have to understand more from the system guy. What would be the requirement if you like to design your system that you think packaging together, or you have the confidence to pack the optics things together or place it really close together, and changing from the system point of view to make that happen. Otherwise, people would always just stick with the pluggable because they think it has at least has a current biggest market right now, and also has probably the easiest way to fix it. There is several advantages for using that, but the disadvantage is well known, which is the longer distance, the SI, the power. It's all there. That's why I'm kind of like swinging around, join different groups, and try to think if we can figure out if there is a system point of view that can guiding the optics development.
Thanks, Bobby. I'll work with you to try to schedule a talk in. So, because there's so many things happening in parallel, it's useful for everyone to know what's going on and how we can possibly co-work together or fit in nicely. So, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kevin, are we done with that? That was excellent, lots of discussion, and I feel very excited about the good stuff we're gonna share and the, the stuff that we've got to work on in 2025. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we're definitely done. Sorry it took 45, but it was a good.
Oh, no, it was a great discussion, right? I mean, this is kind of important. Just not presenting and running away. This is really what do we work on, what is of interest, and what makes sense for the industry. So I totally love it. Next on, we've got Raghu.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. 1 second. Yeah. Tick share. So you should be able to see a PowerPoint file.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, for the 20 minutes that we have, it will be. And first thing I want to say is that we are going to change the formats to what Cliff sent, and we have not yet done it, but we have that as action for next week. But basically, it will be a two-part session. We'll run through what we had. No, this is basically, I think, Steve's thing. Let me just reshare 1 second. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm in Steve's part, let me show that, right? So it's two-part session. First part, I will be covering some of the outcomes from the business workshop, which happened maybe after the Chiplet Summit last year. So it's like still new information for the Chiplet Summit and something that we shared in the Global Summit. And so I'll cover that second. But essentially, what Steve is going to do is that he's going to talk about we'll say that, hey, one of the good outcomes from the workshop and the business work stream is that now we have open chiplet marketplace. And this is the kind of the ecosystem, and that we already have people have signed up. Maybe Steve might update if something has changed in the last 2-3 months, but this is pretty much what it is right now. He will cover the Open Chiplet Economy Experience Center and the stats and analytics. This is from October of 2024. So he will update that to like January or like last month maybe. So that's basically his section that we will formulate to the new template. So before I switch to my section, any questions or comments for Steve that I should relay back to him? And of course, there'll be a call to action. Not to mention that this will be like a good place to go and say that, hey, you should be part of the Chiplet marketplace, and these are kind of the 3 or 4 steps that you can do to join the marketplace.
Raghu, this morning I was on a different call with Steve,
Okay.
and he said that I haven't looked at the website yet, but the Chiplets have their own space now on the
Oh,
marketplace.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing it. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So I think what was the screenshot? Let me see yes, he did mention it. So he will
Update the slide, yeah.
update the slide. I think it'll have its, yeah. So I didn't put a screenshot here, but I think on the page. No, good point. He'll update it for the
Yeah,
Chiplet
because
session.
I would like to use that updated one on the keynote as well as another talk that I'm doing to make sure that I have the
Yes.
right
Yes.
new
No.
information.
Good call. So let me share the first part of the presentation.
And while you're bringing that up, another point that I wanted to make is to, yes, exactly, make sure that when you present this in the tutorial, just to mention that there'll be a demo of the Open Chiplet Marketplace in our booth. And so people can come there and take a look at it with us.
Okay, sure. I'll make a note of that. If you have any screenshot or something or a one slider you want to put in, Cliff, then we can put it in. Besides just doing a bullet point or a verbal. Do you have any?
Yeah, I think between you and Steve, we'll ask you to take care of that. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. Is there any kind of a one slide beauty slide that you want to just show so that we can flash it up? Or is it?
Yeah, I'm sure Steve can generate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just remind Steve to put it in. Okay, all right. So this was the first part, and essentially, since this is, and I'm just going to put it in kind of a slide sorter mode. So we are going to pretty much use the base content that we showed in OCP Global Summit to say that we had a workshop and we had all of these companies, organizations participate over 2 days, and a lot of good topics came up for discussion, and we have been systematically going and addressing it. So then I'll just touch upon some of the key things that came out in the workshop. And then what I'll do is that since this is a chiplet summit and there is already people are like signed on to chiplets, or at least believe in chiplets, I will not talk much about the benefits of chiplets and market size, but I'll focus on some of the outcomes that have happened since the workshop. So the first one is obviously the chiplet marketplace that Steve will have like a dedicated 5-10 minutes to talk about. What we have done since the chiplet summit last year was we launched the white paper. So we'll just flash it up again. And these video series is actually complete, right? So as of this week, James and the IT team have put the video on the YouTube. So I will flash this up and say that this is ready to go. This is right now on a YouTube, just kind of view format, but we'll also have a learning management system where you can go and answer a few questions and get a certification. So maybe that might be of interest for some of the audience out there. And then lastly, I will also touch upon some of, I mean, you know what, I'll also like pick 1 or 2 slides from some of these content that we have and just pre-wire it to say, hey, these are some of the things that are of interest to the business and technology of chiplets. So that's how I'm planning to make the content more fresh and relevant to the chiplet audience.
And Raghu, we could just start with what has changed since Global Summit, because you do have changes since the Global Summit. So just to get the audience kind of like, oh, okay, it's not the same thing. It's there's something more interesting. So just for that.
Yeah, I can bring that up right up front, right? So I can just say, hey, these are we had a workshop and these are some of the things we already like recent changes that have happened, right? So I can just start with that maybe. Okay, good comments.
Okay, that's perfect. So I think we've got you covered, and you know, Steve, if he wants to talk next time, he can. Otherwise, I think we're good. The other folks, I know Rajesh said next week. Rajesh, I don't know if you is Rajesh on the call? Maybe not. He's got a conflict, I think. Oh, he is. Rajesh, I know that you have Aparna and you. Do you think your talk has anything new or different from the Global Summit?
No, actually, we'll be just changing the chiplet format. I mean, the presentation format. Nothing yet changed because we are sticking to the same white paper. Version 2 has not put up the new material, so we'll be presenting the same presentation.
Okay, then in which case, you know what, if we don't get a chance to review a material, we already know what it is.
Yeah, that is fine.
Yeah, I feel quite
I need to get together with Aparna because she was busy, but I think we should be okay.
Okay, no, that sounds very good. And then we have Patricia on the call. Hey, Patricia. I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. So for the HPC modularity workstream, I feel like that one's gaining a lot of traction. There's a lot of interested people calling in. And you guys have been doing some new work since the Global Summit. So it might be of interest to put anything new on a slide, or even to talk about the participation from so many different organizations and universities at your meeting. So I don't know if hopefully you can hear me, Patricia, but we can talk offline. But if there's something you want to highlight about it on the first slide before you go into details of the mandate of the work stream and details of the scope, I think that might be a nice place to start, given a lot of people who have already been in the Global Summit, and then they'll know real quick what changed or what the new plan is. Okay, thank you for that one's done. David, you're on the call. I'm wondering, do you have anything new? I know you are working on some new initiatives. David, you and James, is there anything different from your Global Summit presentation?
We'll update the Global Summit slides with the latest progress. That's about the plan for the presentation.
Okay, and would you like to go next week to go through it with the team, or just highlight anything different or new you're going to do? You're welcome to do that if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. I can take 5 minutes just to go through the new stuff so that everybody is on the same page. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I see your note, Patricia. No problem. I figured there's some audio issues, and then we can chat offline. So I think we're pretty much set. Cliff and I have this keynote thing that we're supposed to. The idea was we try to share that with you guys next Friday, but I think the problem is I have only 20 minutes that day because I have a hard stop to get to a doctor's appointment. But hopefully we will not let you down in the keynote. Cliff is a pro at keynotes, and I am quickly learning from him, and hopefully we do justice to the tremendous amount of work and collaboration that goes on in these teams. Javad has a talk to, and he would probably share that on next Friday if he's able to attend. He has some personal commitments Friday morning for a few weeks, so if he can join, he'll probably share that. And Cliff, other than that, I think we are all set.
I just had one more thing to mention as we're wrapping up today. Again, OCP EMEA Summit, love to have as much chiplet representation as possible at the summit. The call for papers will close on February 10th. So please, everyone, pass the word around. Maybe Anu and you and I need to do a little mailing to remind people on the group's IO that we would very much love to have proposals for the chiplet.
Yes, actually, now that you mentioned it, David, did you not send an email with questions about the EMEA?
Yes, David did. I did get your email. I don't know if he's still on, but I did get it. I didn't have a chance to respond. Things were a little busy yesterday. Thanks, David. Certainly, if talking about CDX is very important and how that's growing. I saw some of the presentations that were done here, I think last week, was it, on some of the plans for CDX and the design kits? And I think that would be very interesting for EMEA.
Yeah, do let me know what's needed. I understand that we're all busy. I thought I'll throw out that question now before I forget, and we hit the Feb 15 deadline and totally lose it.
Well, so the immediate thing is get a paragraph written up and submit it as a proposal. That would be the first, so it's on the books as a possibility.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. We'll do.
Okay. And just as I was looking at the list of participants, are there any new participants here today that, if there are, I would like if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Anu. This is Lavanya. I'm from hardware background. I just wanted to explore about the Open Chiplet Economy group. So that's why I've joined, and it's a good session, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming conference.
Oh, thank you so much. We are welcome anyone new with open arms, and we're happy to have you join any of our meetings. And if you can contribute or just listen in, very happy to do that. And thank you for introducing yourself. Is there anyone else who's first time on this call? Okay, maybe not. Well, all right. On that happy note, I give you 1 minute back in your lives. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.